just some simple advice for entrepreneurs coming up. Just your main
patience.
Here's my main tips.
Patience. Everybody wants it so much right now, and that gets it to the next thing. Get your ears quiet. Everybody is so worried about flossing in front of everybody else on Instagram and Facebook, trying to play a role. Like once you get quiet and you're doing it for happiness, not for money, then entrepreneurship gets easy. When you're trying to rush into some more money because you needed to buy something to look good in front of somebody, you start doing things for the wrong reasons, outside forces. Get quiet in your own head, build things for yourself.
And you have people out here, and we have Money Mondays on the show, and we talk to people who are starting new businesses, and the main question we get asked all the time is how do I start? And then when I start, when do I stop? Like when do we stop working at our other job? When do I quit my other job to get started to go all in on my dream?
You start on the internet after hours, after you take care of what you do for a living and taking care of your family. Start a Shopify, sell on Amazon, start a vlog, start a blog, start an Instagram account. So you start, after hours, after you take care of your responsibilities. When you stop is when you can afford this. The second you can quit and still pay your bills. And by the way, you may have to move out of a 4-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom apartment so that you could start sooner. People don't want to downgrade to get to happiness, which is a huge mistake. So what you start right away because you're unhappy. If you're listening right now and you're unhappy and you want something for yourself, you start tomorrow at 9 p.m. on something that's gonna make you money on the internet. You stop doing it at work the second you can afford to. But affording to comes at what are you spending your money on? And so that, to me, is everything.
and for you, go ahead, Bob. No problem.
Love you.
Love you too,
brother. The Shaq video this morning from Melody was amazing. Are you should come to my party tonight. I'm gonna send you something.
And for you, your personal story of how you made this huge media success. What was the part where you were like, I almost gave up?
Never. I'm telling you the truth. I don't want to be baloney on this show. I've never even considered it because giving up usually means that somebody doesn't think that they can get the thing they wanted. To me, the fulfillment of doing it is the game. Why would I give up the thing I love doing the most? Business for me is a hobby. Think about the thing, if you're listening right now, think about the thing you love the most. Fishing, watching TV, playing football. Why would you give it up? Trying to build businesses, that's why I'm a purebred entrepreneur. I haven't even come close to ever giving up. Have I had tough days? Of course. But giving up something I love? That's crazy.
And just the last tip for the people that are listening right now, just on finding the thing that they want to do.
Yes.
And excelling at it.
Yes. Oh, got it. I understand. Very simple to me. And it's the question I asked all the time. Well, I don't know what my passion is. It falls into 2 categories. One, you do know what it is. You're not willing to articulate it, or you don't think it could be a business. You might be crazy passionate about worms. And you're like, I can't say that, like that's silly, and how do I make money? You don't realize that you could make $500,000 a year from bait companies for fishing. Like you don't see it. So either you don't want to say it because you don't think you can make money of it, or you just haven't tried enough things.
You know what? I have you here, and I'm starting a business, and I do podcasts.
Yes.
I produce podcasts, yes. and I'm just trying to build a business.
Yes.
For me, it's always been price point.
Yes.
I've always been told, because people aren't making money off podcasts right away.
They're wrong.
I can't.
You got it.
I can't.
You're gonna win.
I can't sell it. I can't sell it.
That's what they told me about the internet and email and Google and Facebook and social and video and audio and Alexa. Nothing makes money at first. The NFL used to not make money. Right. Guys, Super Bowl I was not sold out.
Right.
Guys, Super Bowl I was not sold out in attendance. I don't know what else to tell you.
Right. And eventually it ended up...
Podcasting is real.
Right.
The end. Stay alive and then you'll get your money.
Gary Vaynerchuk, finally our time has come.
Well,
Wine Library TV, I met you at Blogs with Balls.
Yes.
Back before you were the GaryVee, back before Crush It and all that good stuff. Dude, first thing, you put a shout out for Trots last week.
Yes.
You have some fascination with Trots.
Yes.
I covered Barry Trots' first team in 1987. We've been friends for 32 years. Hoisting the chalice, the goblet, over Las Vegas together. What do you want? You want? Is he changed Long Island yet, or what?
Well, it looks like he's in the process of. One of my dearest friends, Mike Paya, is the biggest Islanders fan of all time. And we were having a text exchange about how cool it is that with all this weird stuff that's happening with me, the attention, that a lot of the people that we love are now reaching out to me to say hello. So we call it the family. So
well, Trotz is a part. You're my family. You don't know it yet because we collected baseball cards. Same thing. You know the whole deal. I like some wine.
Your energy's like mine.
No. Your energy's like mine.
Respect.
I'm older than you, and I've been doing this 27 years. People come to me and say, "You're doing Vaynerchuk's thing." I'm like, I've been doing Vaynerchuk's thing since 1992.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think that my really good friends, like I need to become friends with him. He's a huge Islanders fan. So
he's one of the most magnanimous human beings
I can't wait to meet him.
I've ever known.
I literally can't. I want to desperately take him out to dinner so I can bring my friend Mike and try to figure out how I can bring him unbelievable value since he's brought so much happiness to my friend Mike in 6 months.
I let him know that on a text the other day when I saw you. So that's connected. Now let's get to the bottom line here. Using the internet
Please
to
connect us. Ask him if it's okay. Put us on a 3-way text.
Done.
We'll be all connected.
Using the internet for greater good and for bigger causes.
Yes.
I know that that's at the heart of what you're trying to do. I'm in a very challenged city in Baltimore.
Yes.
And I want to pick my city up this year amongst other people and do more positive things. I'm talking about making the world a better place because the internet's going to be a part of that at some point.
Well, the internet is the foundation of communication. So, talking about the internet is funny to me because the internet's like oxygen. What's the internet's point in making the world a better place? It's the fact that that's where communication, thoughts, and ideas will be formed and lived out. And so right now,
the good and the bad.
Of course, the good and the bad. Because
sometimes the bad's winning, though.
No,
sometimes.
You're gonna love this.
Go ahead.
The bad wins up front. Mm-hmm. Because what the internet's current state is doing is exposing a lot of things that we didn't know about ourselves or we chose not to look at.
I think it's going to be an incredible value for truth when all this is over with.
No.
For integrity.
It is now.
Amongst the good people.
No. Amongst the truth is good and bad. Truth exposes. Brother, do you understand how many people spew hate on Facebook today?
All day.
And 37 years from now are going to have to answer to their 12-year-old granddaughter and are going to be mortified and deserve to lose? Do you know how much truth the internet has? Let me tell you about 1947-year-old racist Rick. He got to rewrite his history that he wasn't. Let me tell you about 2019 racist Rick. On the record. My friend, the internet is going to expose the greatest truths of society because it's documented at scale. And you know what I think about that? Tremendous. So it's a little uncomfortable now, but once people actually quantify what's going on here, the next 200 years are going to be remarkable.
You're out on the web every day talking about what you're doing and 50,000 feet and 100,000 feet. I just got back from Tony Robbins. I did a fire walk with Tony in 1994. Changed my life. It was 2 weeks before the baseball strike. I'm in a baseball-only city. No football team was ever coming.
Yep.
Charlotte and Jacksonville got the expansion teams.
Yep.
I sat at the bar with a bottle of champagne that was never to be opened.
Wow.
That night, the Jacksonville got a team in front of us, okay?
Jacksonville shouldn't have a team now.
2 years later, the miracle happens. Art Modell shows up in the parking lot.
It's crazy.
Brian Billick's my partner here. I have 22 years of doing sports radio and fulfilling my dream. At 50, I went to see Robbins last month, spent a week with him, Date with Destiny, about what the next thing is. And I know you've had a lot of that from parents with a liquor store, baseball cards, wine library, and then what to do with it. And I've watched what you've done with it from that day at Blogs with Balls in the basement of that beer joint in the middle of Manhattan a decade ago to see what's happened to your destiny, but strategizing the next thing for you. VaynerMedia, owning the jet, you got all these things, but on a daily basis, you can't do all of it, right?
No, and I think it's okay to juggle a lot of different ambitions and wants and dreams, and I enjoy that. I enjoy juggling 55 balls in the air, and if 22 fall, they fall. When you start not worrying about judgment, things get really interesting. When I'm not worried that if one of these businesses fail, and they're like, aha, you're not good, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That business didn't work. I had the wrong partnership, we had the wrong value proposition, but talk to me about the net. Your 2000 Ravens won the Super Bowl, right? Sure. They had some flaws in that team. Actually, when I think back to that team, they had some flaws.
Well, right off the bat, the football people thought the quarterback was a flaw.
That's right. So I think that, to me, I'm a 360 human and entrepreneur, and I like juggling a lot of things. And this goes back to what I care about the most. And I get back to us being family, I'm kind of starting to, you had more context than I do, and I'm already picking up on it. Look, when you love what you do, it's real good. Like, we need to...
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think, I'm hoping...
It's my 26th Super Bowl. I dreamed of going to 1. I'm a pretty lucky guy, dude.
Remarkable.
Literally.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you for trying, by the way. Here's how I look at it. Someday soon, I hope, and I'd like to be one of the voices, and it'll take many voices. I'm not even remotely close to a big enough platform. Someday soon, I hope that happiness, genuinely being happy, is something that people strive for in the same way that they strive for money. If we can get to that, it can get real good, real fast.
But part of that's needing significance and needing certainty and all the stuff that we talked about with Robbins and Date with Destiny.
100%. I mean, there's a lot of variables to that, but honestly, above all that, because a lot of that can get pretty altruistic, how about self-awareness? How about the fact that we need to start talking about when you actually know yourself, how about finding out why you have insecurities? Who instilled that in you, and why? When all of a sudden you become compassionate and empathetic to your mom, who actually did a bad job in parenting you, but you realize, well, that's because she dealt with X, and that manifested down to me, all of a sudden you can start forgiving. You can start taking a step back. I just think that people dwell on their shortcomings or what they can't do, instead of being excited about the 1 or 2 or 4 or 7 things they can do.
Where's your well for personal development, you know? Sometimes I come to you, sometimes I go to Tony Robbins, sometimes I just sit in the window and with my cat, you know what I mean? And think about things. For you, personal development for you, what do you work on an annual basis to get better? Same question I'll ask Robbins when I have him on, you know?
You know, for me, I don't consume stuff. So usually it's the energy of the feedback loop from the audience itself, or just very insular, close my eyes in my own self. I'm very good at being a cocoon. I haven't been able, you know, it's a really tough, you know, it's tough because this is not a fun, this answer's tough for me because there's a level of audacity, there's mixes to answering what I'm answering, which is nobody. It's not a human, it's a feedback loop from the audience and some version of me being insular with myself and having the conversation with myself. That's just the truth, and you could see the tone changed a little bit. Like, I think I'm trying to understand it because I think it's good.
A lot's happened to you since the last time I saw you in the basement, you know, literally.
Yeah, but that's from the outside.
Right.
If you and I were homies since 4th grade, you would know how much everything stayed the same.
I see it at the Jets games, I know.
You know what I mean?
It still burns. You'll always have Super Bowl III, though.
Don't be mean.
Have that.
Don't be mean just because you got one.
All right, so the first question I'll ask for both of you.
Yes.
What does Belichick know that nobody else does?
What does Belichick know that nobody else does? From my perspective, he knows a process of reverse engineering his athletes to put them in the best position to succeed, which is a management style that is unique. Most managers come in with, this is what I do, and you're gonna figure it out. I believe from afar, and I hate saying this because I hate him so much.
Pats.
I hate him and the Pats. But I think what's made me successful is I look at them, even when Tyree started working, from a marketing standpoint with Vayner Sports, I don't want to make him do things he's not comfortable with. I'm trying to get to know him, and then I'll bring him opportunities that he's going to say yes to, instead of like, oh, I don't want to do a 3-day shoot, or I don't want to read from a teleprompter. And so I think, because I don't know, but I've watched a lot of Patriots football being a diehard Jet fan, my intuition is that he reverse engineers players and puts them in the best position to succeed.
Do you hate him so much just because he's AFC East? If he was somewhere else, you'd respect him?
Do you know that Bill Belichick was the New York Jets head coach
For
twice?
a day. For a day.
Twice, and never coached a game. Like,
So that move.
Just like, you know, like, let's just talk about life. He was the Jets coach. What's up, champ? He was the Jets coach twice and never coached for them, and then went on to be the greatest head coach in NFL history. So what do you think I think? Tyree?
Yeah.
Tell me who you are.
Yeah, please.
So I'm Tyree Jackson. I played at University of Buffalo. I play quarterback. I'm getting ready for the draft right now. Signed with Vayner Sports. So, I mean, for me.
Good call.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I mean, just growing up watching Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, you know, they've always been kind of at the top. I don't have any ties to any team, so I think he's a great coach, and I love what they've done. And, you know, I think that they do a good job of just staying consistent. They're consistent each year. They kind of go about it the same way. And come this time of the year, they're always playing for the Super Bowl or deep playoff run. So.
And it's just true. And now I got to just tell everybody, because this actually happened. I had a nightmare 4 days ago that Tyree got drafted by the Patriots.
Well, if you guys do what you do, it's probably gonna happen. But I have to ask you,
Yes.
just with your brother.
Yes.
You've gotta beyond pinch yourself. I'm here with my brother.
Yes.
At the Super Bowl, repping athletes. How much are you this is my life?
You know, AJ and I are really bad at smelling roses, but once in a blue moon, we're bad at smelling roses.
Or celebrating wins.
That's right.
How much? I asked him how.
But once in a blue moon, we'll get into some sort of quick text. And we actually just did it, but it had less to do with the Super Bowl, I think. Nonetheless, yes, it's remarkable. And if we had this conversation, if we saw the things that are happening in our lives 20 years ago, the way we were sports fans and in our youth, and we're obviously 11 years apart, it's really cool.
But even with the success you had prior to the agency, even that, it's such a whole new, I'm not a shoe guy, so I don't care about that. But this to me is we're gonna say we're gonna rep athletes, and then they're actually gonna take us seriously. And I'm shopping. I'm living freaking.
Jerry Maguire. Is that where
I
you
just
go?
met Lee Steinberg, by the way.
I love it. So
you met Lee, by the way?
Yeah, I think so.
Amazing guy. Anyway.
To me, of course, and where it's even more important is the following, which is, we're not just going to be in it. We're going to be the single best sports agency in the history of the industry. Because we're great, and we're good people, and we're talented, and we're patient. So, I'll be very frank, what's exciting about Tyree and Alan Robinson, who just came on with us, for me, these guys are gonna be the OGs of it, and they're gonna benefit the most. They're gonna be the original crew, so I'm forever, when I'm 73, gonna be putting them on and their kids on, because they were the ones that helped along the way, and then it's gonna be this, it's been written, my friend.
So besides I'm going to teach them how to do social and have that personality or whatever.
That's nothing.
I know it is. I'm asking to explain to the audience what you're going to do as a sports agency.
I'm going to support them as men. Right? I'm just going to be there for them. When their mother dies, when they want to sign a second deal.
Real life Jerry Maguire.
I think so, yeah. I know so. I don't know the movie well enough.
How big can your roster be?
Well, we're doing it with VaynerMedia now. We have 1,000 employees and we do $200 million. The answer is a lot if you surround I'm just looking, when I look at Tyler, it scares me to know what Tyler's going to be able to do. He may not want to do it with me, I understand that, but quite a bit. You could scale when you, Patriots have had a lot of different players. They've had a lot of different years. They've been different names on the jerseys, but the infrastructure at the top's been the same.
So again, back to that. People watch what he does, and every team says this, next man up, next man up. The Patriots, they'll use 3 running backs in a game you never heard of.
But that's because they have the 1 or 2 pieces at the top that matter. Here's something that's been consistent. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. One thing that will be consistent at Vayner Sports is me and AJ. Do you understand?
But dude, what about Bill Walsh and Joe Montana? Or even Bill Walsh and Steve Young?
Well, that's why Bill Walsh and Joe Montana won.
But it didn't last 15 years?
Well, that's because ownership is actually the top.
So what does Robert Kraft know that we don't know?
That he has to put people in the position to succeed. You have to feed A players, right? When you have an A player, you have to know what he or she wants and you have to feed them. Tyree, let me ask you a question. I'm bouncing around a little bit, changing up the content. As a quarterback, which is the lead in the structure of what's happening on the field, I assume that you've had to adjust and pander to wide receivers, left tackles, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like at a quarterback, you have to know your teammates. You have to know the guys around you. You got to know the guys around you, know your teammates, and like you said, if you're a little weaker at one position, you gotta, account for that another way. If a receiver can only run these routes, you gotta know that, and you gotta throw the ball a certain way.
Instead of being pissed that, oh my guy doesn't run that receiver, and then forcing and throwing picks because the guy can't run the route.
Exactly.
So where'd you go to school?
I went to Buffalo, University of Buffalo.
And where is he right now slated to go, or do you know? Or
What's really the biggest thing I've learned about of football, and I was a diehard fan, and now I'm really in the business, is mock drafts are not that good.
Because
the media doesn't actually know.
Hyper doesn't know?
They know, they have thoughts, but we have better data. I have way better data now, and we still don't know, right? We're talking to actual scouts, actual GMs, and some of them are having actual conversations with you. They're not smoke signaling you, but I don't know, by the media standards, people have Tyree in the 3rd round on average. There's people that think he can go 2nd round. There's people that think he can go even late 1st if he gets crazy in Indianapolis. There's people that think he can go 4th round. And what I like about him is, listen, I'm speaking for you, you'll speak. Let me tell you why I desperately was holding my breath that Tyree would sign with VaynerSports as we worked on this journey. I just don't think he's going to give a crap where he goes. Will he be pissed if he goes 6th round? Let me save you time. He'll be pissed. But then the next day he's going to start, and we're going to focus that he's in Cleveland or Cincinnati or Los Angeles.
How long have you dreamed about whether it's in the big room or sitting on the couch with your mom and like that day coming?
I think ever since, I picked the football up and started playing when I was 5 years old, it's one of those things that's always the goal, but it's not the end goal. The end goal is to win a lot of games and continue to play, go to the Super Bowl, those things. So I think it's just another step in the process, and it's just another thing that, just like you want to play Division I football, it's just another thing, and you got to keep going. All
right, well, I know Gary says I'm not going to spend time working on my weaknesses. However, I feel like with athletes, it might need to be my footwork, my whatever.
No, that's exactly right. And I talk about leaning into your strengths and not dwelling on your weaknesses. And so I have to do a better job clarifying. Certain weaknesses can destroy you. So certain weaknesses can destroy you. And so you've got to make certain weaknesses palpable. He's a huge dude. He's going to be the biggest fucking quarterback in football, right?
How are you?
6'7".
So his windup is going to be different than a guy that's 6'1". So you got to reverse engineer. We got to bounce. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What advice do you give your clients about social media?
Truth is the only option. So, what you're alluding to and what a lot of people think about is the downside. I see all upside because I recognize that if I do something wrong, that I will just own it because I'm a human being. And every single person in this convention center has done something wrong. Some have been able to hide it, right? But when you get paid lots of money and have a lot of exposure, it's harder to hide. So my big thing is be you. A lot of them feel a lot of pressure to become really good at social media when they sign with us. I'm I don't need that. We're a football sports, we're here because we think you're one of the best wide receivers in the game. Now, do I think there's things I can help you with? Will it lead to opportunity? And look, these are young men. We have to start having empathy. Some of these guys come into the league, they're still dating. There's a lot going on in the DMs on Instagram. I'm not naive to what's happening. You try to get them to focus on their core strengths, but it's just a human conversation. I'm not imposing anything, and I'm there for them when anything happens. And if it's something negative, the advice will always be, we're gonna tell the truth, because you're a human being, and that's that.
I use the term hustle. I think it's become cliched, but we know what it means. You embody that on a variety of levels. But for people listening and watching, what about having a purpose, hustling with intent?
I love that. Yeah, look, and some of the stuff about purpose or fulfillment gets gets altruistic, right? There's people at home that are just trying to pay their rent. So for me, it's actually something else. It's a mix of hustle and purpose, and it equals happiness. I just think if people understood that happiness has to be the goal, and that if you're chasing money, you're already vulnerable, and that happiness comes in a ton of forms. There's a lot of ways to be happy, and if you could just deploy some self-awareness, you could get dramatically happier. That to me is what I'm trying to force people to understand, that happiness is what you should be trying to achieve, and I'm trying to get people to understand making $47,000 a year, but being on a wiffle ball team that you love and playing Fortnite all night, if you're actually happy, then that's amazing. If you're complaining that you have no money, well, now I have to talk to you about 10 p.m. to 2 in the morning. And so I don't know, I'm on a new kick altogether, which is happiness. Oh, it makes you happy to work at a nonprofit? Well, guess what? You're not gonna own a mansion. You're gonna need to rent, but you're happy. And so that to me is I'm just obsessed with that. This is why I am so passionate about VaynerSports. You meet this, I didn't have the luxury with Alan, but this is the luxury I'm having with Tyree Jackson, who we have this year, and others, DeMarcus Lodge. You meet them at this age where they haven't even started. And you realize, there was a kid our first year, John Toth, he broke his back during the Senior Bowl process.
Before the journey
even begins. Or back to, we've seen a million things. Or let's go to the extreme. Bo Jackson at the apex of sports, an injury that you and I, when we watched it, didn't feel like it was anything crazy. Over.
The hip injury never played.
This is where I'm excited. The fact that Alan says, man, injuries can change everything. Well, that's not the way it is in entrepreneurship. you know, outside of health, right, which is more macro than injuries and less common than injuries, the fact that Allen, if everything goes phenomenal for him, and he's a youngster actually in the scheme of things, like okay, so what, 32, 34? I mean, look, can you imagine, right? I mean, this is where
29. So
right. Well, you look 20. You look great, but like, you know, the fact that if everything goes great for him, that he might be 35 years old and done.
Right.
He's got his whole life in front of him.
Which is a challenge, though, right? Because
and it's funny, I tell everybody I want to play 12 seasons. So if I play 12
is that how you came up with it? Is that where you're at?
So if I play 12 seasons, I'll be retired at 32.
No, he came out young. He was
right.
young.
All right, let's think about that, and when we're wrapping up a second. Let's say you were an accountant, and you had 12 years of being an accountant, and at 32, that was it. And you've been an accountant your whole life. What do you do in the next chapter of your life? And you'll get there at some point, but that's another challenge I don't think we discuss enough.
This mental shift of and this is why I want kids in our ecosystem from day one. If day one, and by the way, I'm a businessman and a marketer, but this is not about money. It's about happiness. If day one we're bringing to him how to be a good, Brandon can help me be a good dad, be a good brother, if you help them, by the time they get to 32, and they're transitioning to the next thing, they're a complete man. They haven't just been a one-dimensional athlete who hasn't rounded out his life, giving back to the community, nonprofit, making money, like building your brand. This is a good-looking dude. This guy could be a superstar actor if he wants to. And so, like, I think the role of football players, 3.5 years on average.
Right.
3.5 years.
On average.
On average.
50%.
So,
get there.
So to me, I'm dying to know about the 32 to 62 years range for these NFL, and now they're starting to think about that, and 20 years ago they didn't.
Final thought, and sorry to jump in there, but I know we have limited time. We have a big social media presence, and a lot of people follow both you guys. But I'm always intrigued about when it comes to your success is your willingness to be open and share. And recently you had a great post about someone sitting on their couch just feeling like, I don't know where to start. He said, well, look around. What do you have that you could go down and sell?
That's right.
And what could you do with that $25 if you
want
to finish the story?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been putting out a lot of content. A lot of people have been winning, but a certain group really grabbed my heart. They were saying, I have no money. None. Zero. And like, they weren't joking. They're like, I'm on welfare, I'm poor, I'm homeless. These are people literally emailing me and DMing me. So I said, you know what? I've got to teach people how to get from $0 to $100. This is, luckily some people I can teach from going from millions to billions, but 0 to 100. And so I'm unbelievably passionate about that, and I started talking about garage sailing and flipping, and in your closet there's stuff, if you don't have money, that old sneakers you don't wear, and it's been remarkable. It completely exploded because it brought help to people. There are so many people that an extra $500 a month changes their lives. I grew up in that environment. You know how many players grew up in that environment? So to me, that's been very exciting. Thank you for bringing that up. Sell stuff. The average garage sale has 10 items that is $1 that goes for $20 on eBay. And if you're willing to put in the work and wake up at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I think if you're hungry and unhappy, you should be willing to do that.
Great to see you guys. I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And so, what are you looking forward to the most here at the Super Bowl?
Just spend time with my guys. My brother AJ and I started Vayner Sports.
Yeah.
So we represent a bunch of athletes, Allen Robinson, Tyree Jackson. So just catching up with a lot of our dudes, business friends.
Yeah.
And I'll be very honest with you,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I know about or have relationships with or watch me just to say hello. One of the reasons I've done well on social media is because social media is about people.
Yeah.
I love people. I like people.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much happiness and opportunity in abundance in the world that watching other people shine and win, I don't feel like that's coming out. That feels like coming out. What up, my man?
Hey,
what up, baby?
My bro Waka, what's up, baby?
Hey, book.
Hey, I've been watching. I got the one you gave me, the Rockefeller.
You got it.
Bro, can you text? Can I get them to give you my info? I want to text you about that Rockefeller book. Okay, you over here? Bet. I'm gonna see you. Hey, there.
I'll be with you in a minute.
Hey, there.
It's just that, right? Like, that's happening because people are when Waka's winning, I'm not like, oh, Waka's winning, I'm not winning. I'm DMing him and be like, keep shining.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much abundance of opportunity. So I'm just trying to get people to look at the world from a different perspective because I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to share it.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with it? Go into great with it? I wanna put it out at scale. I'm really good at understanding where the attention is.
Of course.
I was there for search, I was there for email, I was there for YouTube,
Yeah.
I was there for Twitter. I was always early because I understand how people consume and I have a good understanding of what I think people should be thinking about.
And speaking of early,
yes.
Any tips of what you think is coming up next as you look at
You'll
appreciate the landscape?
It's a very, very normal question that I get asked, and the answer is I don't know. I'm good at moving fast when I see it.
Okay.
I'm not Nostradamus around here.
He's like, I'm not a prophet at this
I'm
point.
not, but I'm unbelievably good at when I see it to go humble and put in the work to establish my flag in the ground, and then I chill and I wait for everybody to come, and then I go from being stupid or naive or wrong or silly to being a genius.
Hey guys, I'm here with Gary Vee. Now tell me, why are you here in Atlanta celebrating the Super Bowl?
Because I'm not celebrating, because I hate the Patriots. There's no celebrating. I'm here doing business. I have VaynerMedia, I have Vayner Sports, so I have business to do. There's no celebrating going on here for me.
All right, so you're a Sean McVay Rams fan.
Like, enormously. I'm rooting for Sue and Sue. I'm pushing for Sue to end TB12's career, since it doesn't seem like he wants to ever fucking retire. I don't know if you guys are beeping here or whatever.
Maybe this year, maybe?
Definitely not, he already said it. He's literally playing to 45, I already know it, and then I have this weird feeling some like dust up of playing till 50 will probably get into his mind. I literally feel like this man's gonna play until I die at 150.
Would you be able to, I mean, obviously it's a lot of hard work, some talent. Would you be able to, though, give up everything he's given up, like the sugar, the dairy?
Of course.
You would be able to do that?
I've given up leisure to like build my professional career. Like, sugar's easy.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think,
in a Super Bowl, right?
Look, it's this. I'm sure, like you, Brittany, know, like we all know, like if you love something, you're willing to give it up. Like everybody here is giving up something that somebody else loves.
Sure.
Right? Like, you know, for me and D-Rex, sugar might be like, whoa, right? But for others, so the reality is when you're passionate, giving up something for that passion actually comes natural to most people.
I love your Instagram posts. You have a lot of tips, motivation. What motivates you?
Leaving a legacy, trying to deliver on the fact that I was parented extremely well, and there's almost like an underlining gratitude and guilt thing going on, you know? Admiration. You know, I like when people come up to me and say thank you, and it's not because I can throw a football straight, it's because I've said something that has helped them deal with a negative situation with a parent or built a business that has helped them get out of debt. So, admiration.
Awesome, Gary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was an honor.
Nice to meet you.
We're here with the one and only Gary Vee at the Media Center Radio Row on Friday. Gary, what's up, bro?
Life is very good. Thanks for having me.
Listen, people take the sports stuff too serious, and I love the way you do your thing, and I try to do shit like that. A lot of people say that I'm like the Howard Stern of the bodybuilding / sports communities. I don't know about that. Big shoes to fill, but you gotta have fun with this shit, right?
Well, I take sports extremely. Sports is actually the only place where I take things out of context. Like, I'm hyper emotional. Like, I hate the Patriots with all my heart. Like, I hate them more than I hate like warlords in Africa. I'm completely over the top with sports. I'm very calm in business. I'm very calm in real life. I'm unemotional in every part of my life except sports. So, you know, I take it very seriously.
I mean, it's kind of a strange past couple of seasons with a lot of NFL's taking some PR hits and stuff like that. So,
of course.
How do you attribute that with the hoopla and the gala and the dog and pony show that is Super Bowl week?
Well, I mean, coming from the apex, like the NFL is the religion of America. So coming a little bit down from that, it's still going to be a lot of hoopla and passion. And so, I mean, this is America's sport. And the reality is it's got a long run in it. Obviously, it's dealing with certain issues, which are, in my opinion, appropriate on many levels. And I think it will navigate through it, because at the end of the day, you know, when you look at the AFC and NFC championship game, you know, those moments, those overtimes, you're capturing America's imagination in a way that very few things do. And
one last question, 2019,
yes.
What are we looking forward from you personally?
That's a great question. VaynerX, which is the holding company that has all my companies in, we'll probably have 1 or 2 more companies. And I've got one little secret thing in the sports world that will drop this spring that I'm extremely pumped about.
So are we, right here at the Media Center Radio Row with Gary Vee.
So for me, for you guys today, on this day, I would say to not pander to the fan or to Barstool or to Bleacher Report. Like, you don't need what Ian needed. Ian needed the fan to pick him, and you don't. So what I would say is go direct to consumer. Build your own thing. The end. Like, it's just incredibly unbelievable. Like, I wish I had what you guys had. Like, you have a world now where if you're good enough and you do it on Spotify and SoundCloud and YouTube and Instagram, and like, you just are it. Like, I saw that you had a mock draft up on one of your tabs just now.
Yeah.
If you tomorrow do a mock draft and make a lot of noise on social about it, and then that mock draft hits 31 out of 32, which is impossible. I mean, I know enough about the mock drafts, but let's just play with me here. You understand your career's now on.
You control your destiny, you can create your own brand.
It's you and the end consumer. It's you and the guys and girls that want to listen to the things you talk about, and nobody's in the middle. Mike Francesa had an audition.
And he wasn't good at first.
Somebody thought he was enough to give him the at-bat. You never have to live through that if you don't choose to. Too many youngsters still look at the old path and put on a pedestal and like, I'm gonna go to Sirius or Westwood One or Bar, and even new stuff, right? Barstool, my advice to you is do what I did. I didn't go to Entrepreneur Magazine. I didn't ask CNBC to put me on. I went direct to the consumer.
And one thing that I like about you too is that you're very confident in being yourself and understanding the fact that some people might not like you, but you're gonna do it anyway. How have you kind of come across and honed your own style and your own skills in presentation?
Well, there's two things on that, right? First of all, I know I'm a nice person, and like I curse and I could be like Jersey, and I understand, and like it could come off as cocky. I understand, but I know in the end I'll win. Like if you do the right things, you win. I said to you that I would do this.
Yes.
I was freaking 30 minutes away. We got 37 things that are super duper important. And Tyler's like, we got to go do it. And I'm like, let's go. You're either a nice person or you're not. So to me, as you can imagine, it's not worrisome for me to come off wrong at first, because it only means that in 9 years, I'll have that moment with them where they come through and be like, yo, I didn't really like you at first, but I'm with you now, you know? And then also you can't control everything. Like, I don't like Tom Brady.
He doesn't care about that. He's going to keep doing this.
I would highly be stunned if he gave a crap, right? But it's very real. I don't like him. Like, so, you know, that's circumstances, right? If he was the Packers, if he was just the Packers quarterback and done all this, I'd be more okay with him.
But you're a Jets guy.
But I'm a Jets fan, so it's a totally different narrative.
Totally understandable. One of my favorite things about your content is the growing your brand strategy.
Yep.
Whether it's Instagram or whatever it is, the $1.80
yes.
GaryVee strategy. I'm a big fan of that.
Thank you. Have you been trying it?
I've been trying it. I wouldn't say I'm up to that $1.80 level to be consistent.
Have you had anything good happen yet with it?
I've gotten some followers through it because, you know, a lot of people used to be big on that whole follow to unfollow thing in terms of growing their brand.
Garbage.
And I think I've heard this from you in terms of you're not getting anything. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, because everybody just, like, first of all, having your self-esteem wrapped up with how many followers you have on Instagram is already a problem. Let's start with that, comma. And then what, you're gonna game it? You're just gonna follow a bunch of people, and then when they, like, half of them follow you back because they take a look, and then you unfollow? Like, you're a scam artist.
Exactly.
Like, you're a manipulator. That's not what this is about. So I don't know, I just don't like it. Whereas what I told you, the $1.80 strategy for anybody listening, go to 90 accounts, leave your 2 cents, right? Adds up to $1.80. You can go to every sports account, see what they said about the KP trade, read what the caption is, and leave a thoughtful point of view and be like, yo, but I think they're gonna cut DeAndre. Like, you know, like, that's real, that's work.
I know one guy you see do that on nearly every sports post, or even just social posts. Dennis Rodman just comments literally nothing. He literally just comments his name and he's over there, and I'm sure he gets some followers out of that. But he failed to mention he's an aspiring, what do you say, R&B,
Yeah,
rapper.
I'm trying to do rap.
Let's go.
He's growing his personal thing, release some videos. I mean, I think
Look, you've seen what I've had a lot of emerging hot artists come through, and I tell them all the same thing, man. I'm like, it's no different than the sportscaster thing. It's like, put out music on SoundCloud. DM people and be like, yo, you want to use my music in your vlog? Like it's content and it's distribution, right? If you were remarkable, right? If you were John Madden and you were great at it, and you got lucky enough that somebody chose you and put you on Fox or CB, like you won. Tony Romo.
He's great at what he does.
Got great exposure. I was dead when they announced Romo. It's funny, I see him in the corner. I love Phil Simms. I loved the way Phil Simms added to those games. Like, he was my favorite. Lampley and Sims, Jets, Patriots, that was nirvana for me. So I was cynical about the Tony Romo thing until he became a meme, right? He killed it. So it's exposure and being good at it. The internet lets everybody have exposure now. No middleman. But now you gotta be good. Ian how to get lucky to get the at-bat and how to be good. You guys have to be better than everybody at Syracuse, at home in their room, or anywhere else in the world. Do you understand? I love that. That feels like merit.
David Spampanato, Vinny DeBellis, Billy Reinhart, joined by Gary Vaynerchuk. And Gary, something you mentioned in your interview with A-Rod and Dan Katz in the Court podcast was how, especially with Vayner Sports, how you want an athlete's career to launch when they're 40, 50,
yes.
60, 70. Why is that your vision when considering Vayner Sports and launching that to new heights?
Because it's my competitive advantage and it's a nice thing to do. You know, I don't know, it would be really nice that like any kid that signs with Tyree Jackson or Josh Jackson, these guys are gonna have better lives because they signed with Vayner Sports. I don't know what else to tell you. I genuinely believe that. I believe there's very nice people and athletes. I think Mulugeta's a beast of an agent. I think there's great people out there. I just think I'm a better, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's ego, but I know I'm gonna really care and not about money. And I know it's my advantage. I want Vayner Sports to be the #1 sports firm at a Super Bowl in 23 years from now. How do I do that? Well, all the kids that came through and said, I made more money from 37 to 52, or Gary helped me through my divorce, or he put my kid on, that's gonna matter. That's why.
The confidence is infectious, 100%. We got to talk some Jets.
Yeah.
You're a big Jets fan here.
I'd be real mad at you guys if we didn't get into details. By the way, on the record, I think this NFL draft is going to be soft, historically soft.
Last year's you think was great in terms of getting quarterbacks?
Yes.
Well, I saw you going crazy at the Lions game, and Darnold went off, and I mean, you were going nuts leading that family.
Dude, I mean, you just drafted a quarterback. Like, Darnold's the first quarterback I've had since Chad Pennington that I thought could be the guy. And like, you know, and then he throws up. Do you know what
How about that Lions game? Went down like this, and then all of a sudden
I was in a coma. His first NFL pass. I was like catatonic. I couldn't wrap my head around what I just saw. I didn't even, by the way, you'll love this. On the road, I try to stay chill because I don't want to get kicked out, right? Because I don't miss plays. So I'm already pretty passive on the road until the end. Whenever the only reason we did that is because every Lion fan left, so we could get a little, you know, crunk in there. I'm sitting there. I didn't even move. Literally, let me just show you. I know this is really but I'm just going to show you physically what happened. Here's the pass, intercepted, touchdown. I didn't even move. Didn't even move.
You're so like used to that as a Jet fan, right?
Yeah, it was like, you know what's funny? We have our things, whatever, like fine. Like there's a lot of bad franchise. I was just in a coma. Like you couldn't make it up. His first pass is a pick six. And then he goes on to play really nice and solid, composed, picked himself up from like, you get knocked down in the first round and you win a fight, you're a dog. You know what I mean? Like I like boxing a lot, you're a dog. Like, cause that takes mental, that's a different mental thing. So, yeah, man, I'm super fired up about him. But yes, I do think next year's is good. First, I also think Derwin James and Denzel Ward, like, I think there's some real alpha. Saquon, Chubb. I'm very big on last year's draft. I'm not very big on this year's collective draft.
Your end game is to one day own the Jets, and I found your reasoning for it to be pretty unique. And it's because they've been so bad throughout your entire life, but it's your passion that makes you so driven to go do that with them.
Yeah, I want to buy the Jets. And honestly, I want to try to buy the Jets more than anything. Like to me, the ambition to buy the Jets is like the intoxicating part of this. Like it's fun, dude. Like I wake up every morning, like on fire. Like squeezing, like, you know, I was out to like 2:30 last night, like freaking Super Bowl. I'm old now, not like you youngsters can do it. Like, gotta get up, like the breakfast meeting with like the DraftKings CEO, like gotta get up, like, you know, like, but I'm on fire, even though I'm old and tired and like, you know, and so it's good, man. Yeah, having a great ambition. And by the way, look, it's really morphed. When I was in second grade, when I decided, I didn't even know why I said it. Maybe because I started realizing I wasn't gonna be able to play for them. But now it's like my ambition to buy the Jets, my ambition that my journey and my efforts, doing it the right way, will inspire other people. There's a lot that's it's starting to get heavy and good and awesome and exciting.
Well, I meant to ask you, your motivation growing up, where did that come from? Where you
Adversity. You know, I wasn't born in America. We didn't have much. You know, I wasn't tall. Like, I got bad grades. Like, you know, like everything in my life was you suck, you suck, you suck. Chip on shoulder. I'll show them. Like, you know, definitely, that's definitely a driver. Not having money. I want Nintendo, mom, like everybody, cool, go get it. Crap, I better sell my baseball cards. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, listen, there's a reason that a lot of affluent kids struggle to be alphas. When you're fed, you're not hungry.
Good line. Get on that t-shirt.
It's good, right? I like that.
You know, just going off of that idea, one of your most viral videos that I see on YouTube coming up with suggestions a lot is why you shouldn't go to college. You know, do you think we're making a mistake in going to college right now?
No, I don't. I think it's very circumstantial. I think if you're going to college and collecting debt right now, and there's not a job on the other side of it, that you might be making a mistake. Like if one of the four of you have $89,000 in debt at the end of this, and your plan was, this will put me on though, and I'll pay it off, the interest you're gonna pay on that, and the jobs that I actually think are gonna be available to you based on the reality of what college offers versus the reality of job things, could be a challenge, could be. So when I talk about it in nuances, right? But like, there was a kid yesterday who comes from like an alcoholic, you know, dad and a gambling mom, and he's a hood situation, and he wants to go to college, and I'm like, ugh, he's not a good student, he's gonna go like some bunk school, like collect massive debt, walk into a tough environment, you know what I mean?
100%.
So, you know, where are you guys all going?
We're at Fordham.
Right, so like what I don't know is what Fordham's current state of brand of what you guys do and how serious and NBC looks at it if you wanna get a job. I also started this session by telling you to go direct to consumer. So I don't even want you to go and work at freaking CBS Sports.
Put out content.
You know, so think about where I'm at, right? I don't want you to go to CBS Sports. If God forbid, in my framework of this conversation, you're taking on a hundo in debt to hope that the Fordham brand gets you a job at NBC, not my strategy. Could be wrong, could be right. And then everybody goes to, what about, like, we grew up as men here, we met other people and hooking up and all that. I'm like, you can do that anywhere. You can go backpack through Europe for free and hook up and become a man.
Gary, what's your score pick for Sunday?
I think the Patriots are gonna win, which just...
But one of my buddies who's a big Jets fan says, if the Patriots winning means Brady and Belichick, you'll never have to see him again. Would you go in on that?
Of course I'd go in. What are you talking, go in on it?
Rings, you know.
I would literally I'd go like, I'd find McVay and never let him see the day of light. Like I would do anything. Yeah, but that's not happening.
He's coming back, Brady.
That's not happening. And Brady's playing to 45 minimum unless he has a catastrophic injury. It's, you know, it feels like, it almost feels like, the whole thing sucks. On the flip side, I'll be honest with you. I really prefer that Bill and Todd stay, Tom stay. I would love for the Jets to, you know, with this regime, go into New England and beat them in a playoff game. You know what I mean?
Really satisfying.
100%. Like, I'm a Jets-Knicks guy, right? I know you gotta wrap up here, but I gotta tell you this. The Knicks in the prime years, like it was amazing, and I never got to beat Jordan. Like my guys never beat Jordan. I don't know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to beat Brady in New England in a humongous playoff game that he's referenced multiple times this week. It means it still bothers him. He knows that 2010 team, they beat us 45-3 5 weeks earlier. So, you know what that felt like for me, man? I'm gonna just say it on the record. It's the best day of my life. I have 2 children, I have a good life. I'm married. The single best day of my life was beating the Patriots in that playoff game in January 2011 and 2010 season.
Do you have that same drive as Brady though, where there's maybe one event that just gets to you and pushes you to keep going?
This is why I fear him so much. I know him. He's a 6th rounder. Like he won. He's an alpha. I mean, no, but there's a lot of stuff. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I understand a lot about him, and where he bothers me even more than, let's say, Jordan, is I know who Jordan is off the court. I don't aspire for that. But Tom's a good dude. I hate it. I may not like it, but there's a lot of good there, and he's a competitor, and like that 6th round chip, you can't replicate that stuff, boys. You can't replicate that stuff, man. Listen, looking at the 4 of you, if I could tell you anything, find adversity. Don't run away from it. Everybody runs away from it now because they don't like the judgment of L's. L's are the foundation. L's are the foundation.